We're also getting some breaking news in the last couple of minutes. That's from the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is saying that the situation in southwestern Syria is very grave. Israel earlier said it was continuing to strike military targets in that part of the country following clashes in the region between government forces and the Druze armed groups. Let's get a bit more context on all of this now. I bring in our defence and security analyst, Michael Clarke, who's live for us at Sky News headquarters. Michael, very good afternoon to you. Just explain what is going on here, because this is a conflict now between Israel and Syria's military. Is that right?
That's what it's become, Darren. I mean, it started some time ago, some days ago, in the fragmented area of southwestern Syria, in clashes between some minority Druze militia elements and some of the Bedouin peoples who also inhabit that area. The Bedouin are Sunni and the Druze are an offshoot of Shia Islam, 10th century offshoot, not the same, but different enough. And there were some local clashes. The Syrian army then came in a sense, to peacekeep, but actually on behalf of the Bedouin groups, and began to attack the Druze minorities. And because of that, Israel has now come in and is attacking Syrian forces to protect the Druze. Now, the Druze are a minority of about 500,000 people in southwestern Syria. There's about another 500,000 in Lebanon and Israel. And just about an hour ago, the statement that Benjamin Netanyahu made that you just quoted, he began by saying, "My fellow Druze citizens of Israel, you know, we are protecting your people over the border, but please don't go over the border yourself. Leave this to us." And so what began as an intercommunal problem between two relatively small militia groups in two minority communities has now become a clash between Israeli forces and Syrian forces. And the Israelis are attacking as far right to the west of Damascus, and have launched hundreds of airstrikes in recent weeks and have increased those airstrikes in that particular area. So this has become a serious situation which began as a peacekeeping problem between two relatively small groups of militias from two of the minority groups in southwestern Syria.
And Michael, also we're hearing in the last couple of minutes a bit more breaking news, this from the Syrian state news agency reporting that Israel are also striking targets in Damascus as well, the Syrian capital. We believe it may well be the Syrian military headquarters. Again, a continued sense of escalation here.
Yes, there were some strikes this morning at the entrance of the Syrian Ministry of Defence in western Damascus, and I think this may be a second set of strikes. I haven't seen the details that you're looking at, but that's certainly what it sounds like. I mean, the point here, Darren, is that Israel has made it very clear that they regard southwestern Syria now as a demilitarised zone. So one thing, I mean, they've occupied Mount Hermon, which is a very important strategic point because it overlooks Damascus. And they've taken Mount Hermon, which is in Syrian territory. They moved into the UN-monitored buffer zone on the eastern strip of the Golan Heights. So they've already moved out of the Golan Heights, which originally, of course, was Syrian territory until 1967. So they've moved out there. And they're operating as far south as Deraa, right in the south. And the Israelis have made it clear that they regard this, and Netanyahu keeps using this phrase, a demilitarised zone. And Israel Katz, the Israeli defence minister, said a couple of hours ago, he said that the regime, doesn't call them the government in Syria, the regime in Syria must vacate this area. We're talking about Syria here. They must vacate this area. If they don't get the message, we'll have to take more measures. And so there is Israel sitting inside Syria, telling the Syrian government to vacate its own territory. Now, that's how difficult it is. And the reason that the Israelis are doing that is that they demand the idea of having a demilitarised zone because they say they will not have an Islamist government right up against their border. That's their thinking. And they're taking a very aggressive attitude towards that at the moment. But they are, as it were, using the problem that the Druze community now have as a reason to go in to protect the Druze and establish the fact that Damascus must not operate in what they now decide is a demilitarised zone.